Almost. Got my Jamba juice.
Welcome to Stirring the Pot with Lou Marconi and Johnny Cleveland. Part of the Fanatical L's Network, fans first. Join us now.
Victory Monday. It's a victory weekend.
Indeed.
And
How are you, Lou?
I'm doing great. I owe you an apology. Did you know that?
Why?
Because I couldn't hear you for if my life depended on it last Thursday night before the game. That music was so loud up there, and the Wi-Fi was terrible at the stadium. I'm like, I can't hear you, but I'm gonna scream.
You did a good job. You did a good job. It was
freezing. You know, it was a fun night. It was a fun night because I almost got into a fight with a Steelers fan.
Yes, tell everybody about that.
Okay, this guy's walking up. I'm in Sherry's seats. I took Sherry's seats because they were closer and they're better than the ones I usually sit in. And so I'm sitting there. I had a row of guys behind me and around me. They're all drunk and rowdy. And they're all Browns fans. We're hanging out. One guy comes up. This guy with two other Steeler fans is like, these are like, can I just say it? They're Gen Z broccoli-haired faggots.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that. So they're walking up, and one guy's like, "Hey, man, your color's the brown. Your shirt's colored brown. It's the color of shit." And I stood up. I stood up and pointed right at him. I said, "Hey, you!" And he looks at me like he got real spicy. Yeah, you. I gave him the finger. I said, "F you," but I actually said it. And then he's like, "Yeah," and his friends were like, "Yeah, you want to go?" Then he looks at his phone. He goes, "Oh, we got to walk down this row." I said, "Come on, walk. I mean, come on, walk right by me and say something." I stood there and said, "Say something." No. And it was funny because the guys behind me were laughing because they changed their demeanor real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm twice their age. I'm just a crazy old man.
Well, I listened to your take when you were on the other night with Sherry. When you were recalling what happened all as well. I thought that was.
I'm going to tell my wife until the next morning. She's like, Jesus Christ. That's what she said. That was exactly what she said. But I'll tell you what. I was covered in snow walking from Huntington.
Oh, I kept wondering how. Yeah. So where you were seated. You were in the upper deck, right?
Yep, upper deck section.
But you were not like getting snow packed like some of the.
No,
you were.
No, it was blowing around so much.
It's blowing around, yeah.
I made a lot of friends that were because I sat in a different area, and a lot of Browns fans.
What section did you sit in at Sherry's? Where is Sherry?
She's in 505, like row 10.
And where are you normally?
503 up to 27.
Okay, so you weren't too far from. I mean,
no. But I sat there because I said they're better seats and they were closer, and it was a fun night. It was a fun game. It was a fun night. We won.
Oh my gosh! Right?
And people were saying like, yeah, we don't need a dome. It's just like,
right. I know
because we got a snow game like that.
It's such an interesting, right? Don't you think? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like the dome.
I can see that argument. I could see it.
Yeah, you can see it, and like people were talking to the national media about what an advantage, and then we can talk about.
Mike Tomlin said before the game they play weatherproof football, which Pittsburgh usually does. They usually do, but our defense showed up.
Was it Pickens? It was Pickens who was right. What's his first name?
George Pickens.
George Pickens. What a bonehead. I mean,
Yeah, he drew a penalty from Grant Delpit because he tried to trip him, and Grant Delpit pulled his mouth out. Yeah.
Yes, I saw that.
I guess at the end of the game, him and Newsom were fighting. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't hear about it.
If you watch the replay, you can see the two of them going into basically the dog pounder wherever the ball landed.
Yeah.
But you didn't really focus on it until after, and then people are celebrating, and then they start showing Pickens, and you couldn't quite tell what was going on, and people thought that maybe he was picking a fight with somebody in the crowd.
That's what I heard. He was picking fights with people.
But it was Greg Newsom. I mean, they were chipping all game. I mean, if you watch the game on TV, they were showing them.
And according to Mary Kay Cabot, the league is going to review it, so he might get suspended.
Well, him saying his stuff about they're not a good team. I mean, he's such a sore loser. The Steelers have a track record of bringing in really boneheaded wide receivers. I mean, to be honest, you miss the days. I mean, this goes way back, but you and I know this. Like, Stallworth, Lynn Swan. I mean, now these guys, I didn't like them growing up, but they weren't knuckleheads like what Antoine Brown or Antonio Brown, right? Or who?
Chuck Noll. You could say what you want about Chuck Noll, but he was always a class act.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if it just I hate their football team, but no, they have some really. I mean, Franco Harris. I mean, these are some really good guys that just happen to play for the team that we hated growing up. But no, they've had some really. And the thing too is, I listened to some Mike Tomlin commentary. They showed some video of him at some point in the last few years, talking to one of his players, and I thought it was really. I mean, it showed some insight into kind of what kind of coach he is. And, he just called out this guy and he talked to the guy one-on-one as he was coming off the field and really tried to get the guy focused on team football, not this isn't individual stuff. That's why I like these players like Pickens and Brown, who, why the Steelers pick these idiots up, who have these.
Yeah, Chase Claypool too.
Right. These guys are morons. And it just doesn't, I don't understand, because I think Mike Tomlin's a good coach, and I think that what he's coaching is teamwork and effort and stuff. And then you get this Pickens after the game saying, "Well, Cleveland's not a good team, and it was just the weather." I'm like, shut your player up, man, or tell a guy when he off screen, like, don't do that ever again because you look like a fool.
Yeah, so. And you're giving us bulletin board material, just like Myles Garrett had it going into the game.
Oh man, Myles that was a treat, man. That first half, and
then Nick Chubb scoring 2 touchdowns after the team that almost ended his career.
Absolutely. Yep.
That was my article. Was like Chubb gets his revenge. That's what that was my whole art. I had a headline written right after he scored that game winner. Mm-hmm.
If you looked, I don't know if you saw some of the stuff that I shared, but he's 542 yards from passing Leroy Kelly. They've got 6 games potentially. He could get into that second place mark going into next season if the Browns decide they want to bring him back. I hope they.
I think they will.
Yeah,
I think something will be worked out. I think Jameis Winston will be back too.
There's been some disagreement. Like today, I saw some stuff out there that is suggesting that, I don't know. You know how these people just bring up crap on social media. So I don't know what's
It's clickbait. A lot of it's clickbait. But go ahead.
No, I would love to see Winston, and I wrote that article the other day about that, bringing him back. I think
I got a story about Jameis Winston. Saturday morning, I was heading to I was walking into the Chardon YMCA, and he was walking out with his family. Yeah,
no kidding.
I was going to coach my daughter's game. And
yeah,
my dad was already there, and the referee for the game was like, "Yeah, it was Jameis Winston." I said, "Yeah, I thought that was him." I was just like, I didn't say anything. I just walked right. I said, "Is that him?" "Yeah, it's not him." And then they
right.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
it was.
That's pretty cool.
That was cool.
So he lives out in that area then.
He probably does, and one of his kids probably plays basketball.
Well, that whole thing, and the thing that they were dubbing, like, I don't know if you saw any of the NFL film stuff or they'll probably have it on the Hard Knocks, but a lot of the video and the audio of him, like he's talking, he's praising Jesus. He's, a real Christian guy. Throughout the game, at least he's, doing all this stuff and really pumping his teammates up. He's verbally, he comes across as the kind of leader that, he's always seemingly trying to, pump the guys up, players up.
He's producing. I think since 3 things happened. The offensive line got healthy. Nick Chubb became productive, got back and started getting more productive. Yeah. And we got better quarterback play. No, it was honestly, that's what happened.
Yep.
Then ever since then, we're basically a 500 team.
He's 2-2. He's everything about it. He's just his decision making, his quick thinking.
Oh yeah. Now,
the touchdown.
Was somebody saying that he wasn't coming back, or who was coming?
Yeah, it was probably clickbait saying that they were hearing that there wasn't any in their plans, the Browns' plans, and I agree.
I think it's clickbait, and I think probably they're going to evaluate after the season. They're still going to look at the next 6 games.
Absolutely, sure.
But
sure.
I think if he keeps performing like that in the next 6 games, they have
now. Nick Chubb. I mentioned this earlier, just what I just said, but the other thing that was interesting to me is that I was looking at stats currently. So Nick Chubb overall is 74th all time in the NFL in running. Now Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, and Zeke Elliott are the only three active running backs that are ahead of him. Derrick Henry right now is 24th overall in all of NFL historically at 10,600 and some yards. So anyway, I was breaking it down. I'm not going to go through all the stats like I did the other day, and I'm writing an article about it. But Derrick Henry has 918 more rushing attempts right now at the current moment than Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's at like 1,311 rushing attempts. And he's got Derrick Henry started obviously before Nick Chubb, but I think he's got him by at least a year, maybe two. And obviously we know that Nick Chubb has lost a year because of what's happened with his injury. But I certainly think that, Chubb's got, I don't know how much, if he ends up with another team, I think overall his numbers will continue to rise and he'll get to that point where Derrick Henry's at. It's really phenomenal when you study Nick Chubb's, rate of, getting to where he's at. I mean, he's average, 5.1 yards a carry average in his career. Not quite that much, but boy, I tell you, it was nice to just, like you said, got those 2 touchdowns, kind of good revenge.
He averaged like 3 yards a carry and 60 yards on 19 attempts or something.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, it's not spectacular, but it's going to take him probably until early next season to be fully back. And I think the Browns knew that. And I believe they're going to work a deal out. Something's going to get worked out with him.
I hope so. I certainly hope.
The other thing, too, this happened on my way to the game. Report came out from Adam Schefter that Kevin Stefanski's job was safe, and so was Andrew Berry's. That also came from Albert Breer and Ian Rappaport. And Albert Breer even said, barring anything catastrophic. And I remember just thinking, like, you're 2-8. That's catastrophic. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you don't get more catastrophic than that.
Yeah.
So it tells me that, and we were talking about it with other fans on the Rapid, and the one fan was just like, well, I just want to have some sense of stability. He said it just like that with that stupid look on his face. And I looked at him and I said, Stefanski's in his 5th year. So is Barry. Yeah. Is that a sense of stability?
Yeah.
When, NFL stands for not for long, but think about it. That's how, you're saying you want stability. They're in their 5th season, probably coming back for a 6th now after they just got extended.
Yeah.
Hello, it's McFly. What are you saying here? So that's why I said sometimes people like Twitter. People just say dumb shit.
Right.
It's just right. But I responded to it. I just said, well, he's in his 5th season. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Everybody, you heard all these crazy rumors. And plus, I did talk to somebody at the Top Dog tailgate. I can't say his name. He wished to be unnamed. A person that works with construction companies and contracts.
Yes.
There's already bids to build a new stadium. There's already stuff in place to do it.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen, guys.
Let me ask you this: Top Gate or the Top Dog tailgate, is that still on West
3rd and Summit?
So they reopened. I thought they closed it down or something.
No, that was West 6. That was West 6. That was with 92.3 The Fan, that West 6 thing. Yeah.
Oh, this is the other one. Is at West 3rd or
West
East
3rd and Summit? West 3rd and Summit. Yeah, West 3rd. It's like right underneath the bridge. It's right by the bridge there. Yeah,
it's right at the bridge.
Yeah, and I was talking to this guy, and he said this is even possible because of all the BS and the political red tape with the stadium, that they could go year to year after 2028, and they might not be able to start in the new stadium until 2031.
Oh.
He said that's possible.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That would be new information.
That would be. But I said, he thinks, he honestly said, I was going to write about it, but I can't name him, so I don't want to do that.
Right.
He thinks that currently, right now, as we speak, there's behind closed doors deals happening, and all you're seeing is just posturing. Just posturing and politicking.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about more of this shit that people talk about after the break here. This is the Stirring the Pot with Lou.
Stirring the pot of shit.
Yes. And Johnny Cleveland will be right back. We're going to try to be quiet for 3 seconds. Here we go. Okay, that was good enough. And we're back.
You asked me to be quiet for 3 seconds.
Hey,
You know how hard
Lou.
that is?
Lou,
What?
it's my birthday. Did you know
Happy
that?
birthday. Yes, you told
Thank
me.
you.
You don't look a day over 30.
No, I still feel like I'm 25.
Good for you.
Well, I want to thank everybody that has wished me happy
birthday,
birthday,
Happy birthday,
today.
Johnny
Thank you
Cleveland.
so much. And it's been a fun day. My wonderful wife, made me a steak and potato dinner tonight, and we're celebrating later in the week with Thanksgiving, and people are coming over in the weekend. But anyhow, it was very nice, and so I want to give a shout out to her and to everybody else. I had to spend my day we had a field trip with our students, our sophomores, going over to our tech center. So that was the joy, wonderful joy. Actually, the kids did really good. We took about 325 sophomores over there today, and they did a good job. Nothing horrible happened, and they all had learned some things. So, Lou, so I want to bring up this topic again, continue this conversation about the dome, because I was you shared an article, I think maybe first or something, and I read some knucklehead, and I'll let you describe him, and from the Cleveland Plain Dealer,
Cleveland.com,
wrote some, and what bothers me, well, there's a lot that bothers me, but this guy, I mean, that Cleveland.com published this, and I guess it's an opinion piece. Supposedly.
It's an opinion. It's strictly
okay.
It's an editorial. So
it's a stupid opinion, but I'm going to let you explain.
Did you want me to share the screen, or did you want me to?
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Or if
I'll read. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read. This is from Brett Larson.
Sure.
I'm going to read it. This published yesterday, Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's called A Shakedown in Plain Sight. Haslam's pay-to-play bid to win $1 billion plus for Brook Park Dome. Brett Larkin. Okay, Brett. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so he said, the biggest taxpayer shakedown in this community's long and at times glorious history is taking place in plain sight. Pretty much every thoughtful leader in town knows it. And if the perpetrators pull it off, the damage might last for decades. The damage to Cleveland might last for decades. Browns owners Jimmy and D Haslam want Ohio taxpayers to fork over more than $1 billion to finance their fantasy dome stadium project. Fantasy.
I saw that
dome project in Brook Park.
Come on.
Never mind that anyone with a modicum, okay, nice word there, modicum of common sense knows the suggestion.
Modicum? Wait a second. How do you spell that?
Modicum. MODICUM of common sense knows that the suggestion this project will pay for itself is utter nonsense. And never mind that one of America's richest families wants working class Ohioans to split their cost for this vanity project. It's not a split.
It's not a split.
No, it's not, because I put in the facts and what they said.
Right.
All right. Denied the assistance they want from Cuyahoga County, which they never asked.
Yep.
Executive Chris Ronan and Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb. The Browns are now spending generously on state government candidates and causes, knowing Columbus can be a place where the public policy is shaped by size of contributors' contributions. You mean like normal politics every day, rather than what's best for the people who live here. Yeah, okay. I remember that. The House Bill 6 scandal that ruined the lost reputations that sent former Speaker Larry Householder to prison taught us for sale is other planet outside the State House door. Yeah, okay, that's a wholly separate issue, unrelated to this.
Right.
Which is true. It was a scandal, and he's right. It was, absolutely. It would be both unprecedented and highly suspicious of state leaders funded a major project at Greater Cleveland's two most important elected officials oppose. Yeah, okay. Greater Cleveland is the smallest market with professional baseball, basketball, and football franchises. Actually, Pittsburgh's smaller.
And
they have an NHL instead of NBA.
Yes.
So if the community is to retain a shred of dignity and respect for the people who live here for the long time being, there's a fair counter offer to the Browns' request for more than $1 billion. This is his counter offer. Zero, not a single cent. Not now, not until a plan exists to pay the already existing debts owed the Guardians and the Cavaliers under the terms of their leases with Gateway. Not only are the baseball and basketball teams better run, but their ownership is far more loyal to downtown Cleveland. Okay, let's go. I'm going to scroll down some more. For sure, arguments can be made for moving the existing stadium off the prime lakefront spot. Yeah, prime lakefront. That's on a landfill. Now, the spot it now occupies. But no argument can be made for funding predatory project.
Yeah, he put through a lot of words in there that were just like, come on, dude.
Very pejorative.
Yes.
A project that would harm a downtown neighborhood whose prosperity will always be fragile. Okay, it's fragile. Yeah, 10 dates out of the year will kill them. Right. Okay. Respect can't be purchased. The ancillary development plan by Haslam for the Brook Park site would create a project that directly competes for events now held in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Not even close.
Right.
Not even close. The convention center, downtown hotels, restaurants, maybe even Playhouse Square. Yes, we're going to have Wicked. We're going to have Wicked and, any other stupid plays that are out there. All right. On November 13th, I sent the Browns a few questions. On November 13th, which was about 11 days prior to this, I sent the Browns a few questions about Brook Park project. The spokesman acknowledged their receipt. Among those questions were, okay, they're probably saying there's a moratorium on it right now for a reason, because there's possible litigation.
Right.
And nothing's been finalized. So they can't say anything. And he knows this.
Yes.
He knows this. All right. These are the questions. A request for total estimated cost of building the Dome Stadium and public cost infrastructure working, including possible road relocations. Okay. That's still in the works. Would the Browns be willing to allow people who would pay for the project to vote on a proposed tax increase held to pay for it? Okay. There's no tax increases being proposed. None. Would the Browns promise not to cannibalize businesses and or events from existing downtown venues? Okay, such as, I mean, what? You can't. I mean, what concerts by Matchbox 20? Well, I'm not kidding. Right. I mean, I'm not sure. Facilities used by the Guardians Cavaliers are 5 years older than the one used by the Browns, but those two teams were willing to make renovations to those facilities. Okay, there's an answer to that. That costs hundreds of millions less than what the Browns want. Given the obvious fiscal limitations in the city and county, why are the Browns demanding taxpayers pay so much more? The building was built in a rush. It's built on a 93-year-old foundation, and it's falling apart. It needs more work. That's why. I could just answer his questions. I mean, as of writing, the Browns have not responded, so it makes it sound like they're hiding. Okay,
right.
But the answer to the second of those questions is well known. The Browns are not eager for democracy. Ooh, democracy. Yeah.
But here you have this really big, rich billionaire owner who's already. I mean, you can go into this in more detail, but he's going to put down, 3/4 of the money, $2.4 billion of his own money, and there's this other billion that this guy is talking about. But the way that he's presenting it is just wrong, right, Lou?
Yeah, it's 100% wrong. I'm not done yet. This article still goes.
No, I know.
Not to get in the way of the project. They know what asking voters to tax themselves would result in a massive defeat. That's why he's not going to do it, because he knows it would be a losing issue. He's going to. There's other ways to get around it.
Yeah.
The Greater Cleveland Partnership waffling on this issue. So now he's going after the Greater Cleveland Partnerships is a total abdication of corporate responsibility. Not all parts of a region are equal, and without vibrant downtown, all of Northeast Ohio suffers. If the GCP lacks the courage to defend its most vital neighborhood, businesses pay dues to support it and are wasting money, and they would be better spent elsewhere. Dee Haslam is a member of the GCP's executive committee. On November 14th, GCP offered a nothing burger to me. Ooh, he actually used the word nothing burger. GCP is committed to both world-class lakefront and world-class stadium. We are actively engaged in discussions with public, civic, and private leaders towards a solution that delivers long-term and lasting benefits. It was a PR statement up to downtown, city, and the region.
Right.
No one, including the Haslams and the NFL, want this to disintegrate into controversy, even remotely resembling what happened here in 1995.
Yeah.
Of course, if corporate and civic leaders joined Runnin and Bibb in sending a clear message to the state government, nothing would come of a Dome Stadium project 12 miles from downtown. It might be difference maker with the state officials whose default mode is to reward contributors, even if it's bad public policy. Ned Hill is a recently retired professor of economic development at the John Glenn College of Public Affairs at Ohio State University. Hill left Cleveland in 2015 which is almost a decade ago, after spending 30 years in Cleveland at Cleveland State University, including a stint as Dean of Schools, Maxine Goodman
Yeah.
Levin College of Urban Affairs.
Sure.
Hill has a deep love for understanding of Greater Cleveland. When Hill was here, he was never afraid to lead. Okay, so he's speaking from a position of authority. This is his quote. Quote, public money should not go to the Browns in any way, shape, or form outside of infrastructure investments that have meaningful and lasting spillover benefits to the public in a city and region's economic and community development. Okay. So Hill's building professional sports facilities, especially football, is not economic development. This spending subsidizes local entertainment and shifts dollars around the regional map, something that would take place since the Roman Empire. It's comparing it to building the Colosseum in the Roman Empire. What would be a public policy disaster, no matter the location, Hill added, is a massive public payout to the Browns and the private owners to subsidize their businesses and allow real estate profits earned from public investments to be privatized. 10 years from now, if the Brook Park project is complete, which it will be, and begins attracting shows, concerts, and other events that would otherwise be downtown, but the blame placing will be enormous, changing forever the way some people are remembered. The fact that civic and corporate leaders aren't now sounding the alarm will be viewed as another defining moment in Cleveland's decline. For most of the 1970s, I was a City Hall reporter for the Cleveland Press way back when in the Cleveland Press. Yeah, that went under when I was in third grade.
Right.
Those were dark days for the city in a fire sale version of regionalism. Cleveland lost control of its transit system, which is now RTA, Lakefront Parks, Metro Parks, sewer system, and Lakefront Stadium. A federal court took temporary control of the school system, and Cavaliers left town for a 20-year run at an arena in Richfield. Yep. Cleveland has lost enough. Gouging taxpayers for more than $1 billion for Cleveland to lose the Browns would be unconscionable.
Right.
Okay.
So this guy's in his mid-70s, probably. This guy who wrote the article, he's at least probably in his 70s. He's just bitter, and he does not making a lot of sense.
No, because it's not the whole story. So can I read my counter argument?
Yes.
It's nowhere near as long.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to write. I waited because I thought I'm known for having a temper.
No, I think Sherry said the same thing to you the other night when you posed the same question to her.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm known for, but I said, okay, I'm not going to react. I'm going to respond.
Yes.
And I slept on it and I wrote this article.
You wrote a good article. Yep, you did.
Yeah, thank you. I said, let's be honest about the dome for the Browns. And it shows the Browns standing in a dome. I think it's in Houston.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good picture to use. It was a stock photo. I said, last Sunday morning, an opinion writer for Cleveland.com, Brett Larkin, published an opinion article, discussing the outrageousness of the Cleveland Browns asking for taxpayer money to build the Dome Stadium in Brook Park, Ohio. Yeah. The site is located directly across the street from Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. The opinion piece was not only inaccurate, it was dishonest by omitting facts regarding this situation. And I posted the link to his article.
You did. I saw it. Yep.
Yeah, I cited what I was talking. Let's start with the total cost of the project is $3.6 billion. 2/3 of that are private funds from investors and the Haslam sports groups. Yep. The remaining $1.2 billion is planned to be paid for by a usage tax on the facility itself. That is true. But in order to do that, because you can't start getting that money until you start using it. So you got to build it first. So you need the money first. In order to do that, a loan or bonds from the state will be needed, and they will be paid back in full at the allotted time. Here. So that means they're going to get that money lent to them by the state because the county doesn't have it and the city just doesn't have it. They don't have it.
Right.
We know that. The Browns knew that. Okay. So I said, and most of this was discussed by the Browns' public statement last August. Specifics cannot be disclosed yet because nothing is finalized at this time. The opinion writer made it sound like it was 100% taxpayer-funded vanity project for a billionaire, which is not true at all. Please see the open letter from the Browns at paragraph 7. So I published that.
Yeah.
I had a link with that too.
Yes, you did.
Larkin also stated that the team has not performed well either in the last 25 years. Actually, he's basically set a history, which I disagree with that. I disagree with that because let's just say this: 8 world championships, 18 Hall of Famers, the only fan base to fight to keep a team and win. He can kiss off. He can kiss off.
Right.
But I said, why did that happen? Why did this
Mhm.
team not perform well for the last 25 years? He didn't mention that trying to start an expansion franchise in less than a year set the organization back 2 decades.
Right.
Because the city in the 80s and 90s did nothing for the Browns but built new buildings for the Cavs and Indians on taxpayer money, which it was.
Yes.
It was voted on. That was voted on in 1989, which
Yep.
is why Art Modell moved the team in 1996.
Right.
He
Right.
also didn't mention the condition of the current stadium that is built on a 93-year-old foundation and needs $1.5 to $2 million a year in taxpayer money
Yeah.
just to keep it to code. That
Yes.
doesn't include the regular maintenance either.
Yeah.
And the city will not have the current stadium paid off until 2028.
Yeah.
It's still being paid for.
Right.
So they're constantly having to put money into this thing. If the current stadium were a house on the real estate market, it would be considered a money pit.
Right.
And the city knows this. And I think Larkin might know it too. He might. I don't know about that. What you are seeing is public posture from politicians and half-witted opinion writers carrying their water for them.
Yeah, I like that half-witted.
Economic impact was said to be catastrophic in the article by a professor. What was missing was any facts or data to back up the claim.
Because here's a retired professor from 2015.
Because there aren't any. There aren't any.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
Well, I mean, you and I both know. I mean, this whole thing. I mean, we all know where this is going.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, well, let me just finish this. I'm almost done here. For 3 years in the late 90s, the Browns were not playing in downtown Cleveland. What was the economic impact then?
Mm-hmm.
What is the economic impact of having a poorly built stadium sitting empty 350 days out of the year while falling apart?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't mentioned in the opinion article either.
No.
When I write or provide content to my audience, okay, when I do that, I owe them to be honest and factual. I provide links and sources to my opinions. I always do that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if local politicians and some writers would have the same standard. That's how I ended it.
Yeah. Yeah. For
and
sure.
I think that was a great counter argument. What I said, instead of just saying everything this guy just said is bullshit. My cousin Vinny.
Yes.
Well, there's partial truths to it, and he twisted some stuff, and he put in these pejorative words. And I said it made my blood boil when I first read that. I was like, you son of a bitch.
I'm coming on top of what's happened. I mean, just the view that we had last week. I'm trying to think of the pictures of the Browns playing outdoors in a snowy, blizzard-like atmosphere. Just sort of re-energized some of this conversation, and some, especially in the national folks, and some local like this guy, are trying to take it for what it's worth and get everything out of it that they can. And they say, hey, this is a real advantage to the Browns. Why are they thinking about doing a dome? But the counter argument is everything that you just mentioned and everything we know. And long term, I mean, the Browns building this dome and with the support of the Haslams, who are billionaires, I mean, it's going to be a wonderful thing in this community. And downtown Cleveland's not going to just go to hell in a handbasket. I mean, you got still Jacobs Field down there, and
81 days out of the year with Jacobs Field,
Rocket Mortgage Field House, and a hot Cavaliers team. I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah, there's so many.
And I think the Haslams will try to, and I think people will try to create something more down along the lake if the stadium goes to Brook Park, and it will be different, but
they have an opportunity to do more with that waterfront than have an empty stadium for 350 days out of the year.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity with this that they're just so short-sighted. They got to stand up, and whenever you see anybody virtue signal, they're full of shit.
Right.
And you know what I mean by that. You got that Ukraine flag waving in front of your house, but you couldn't find the Ukraine on a map. So just people like that. I'm not pointing. You know who I'm talking about, or people. You know what I mean. People saying that they this house science is real, and all that other stuff. But I mean, I'm just saying, when you see people doing things, there's just I just countered what he said. I said, hey, he didn't tell you the whole story. This is the rest of it.
Right.
Like my Paul Harvey. Boy, we just dated ourselves, didn't we? Now you know the rest of the story.
Now, so getting back to the Browns, and this week coming up, the Browns are going to be playing the Denver Broncos, and probably one of the hottest quarterbacks in Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. They're going out there to Denver. They lost to Denver last year when they went out there.
Me, we agreed to do Tuesday night next week.
Yes, is that work?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
I could do Tuesday. Yeah, because we're gonna do the post. We're gonna review the what, and Friday night on the Burning River Browns Talk, the Bearded Browns Talk people will be joining us.
Wonderful! Oh, that'll be great.
Mm-hmm. Got some guests. I reached out to him on Facebook, and he said I said, it's the day after Thanksgiving. Are you sure you want to do it? He says, yeah, I'll do it. I said, okay.
Wonderful.
If you're out of town, I didn't know. So
yeah, I like those guys.
They're real cool guys. I got to meet them at a tailgate event. That's how we met. So.
Awesome. That's really good. Yeah. So the Browns play this uprising Denver team. They've got Sean Payton as their coach.
Raiders yesterday. They beat the
Raiders. They did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Bo Nix is lights Denver. Out, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I don't know how many games, but he'll come back down to earth. And maybe the Browns can help him with that. Miles Garrett maybe will,
we'll be well rested. We will be well rested.
Yes. And the last time we went out there, Dorian Thompson-Robinson got injured on an illegal hit to the helmet that was never. Do you remember that? He got nailed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He had a hip injury, didn't it? Wasn't something?
Yeah, something. And anyway, it'll be we're going to be Monday Night Football. Now, interesting. The day after we beat the Squealers on Thursday night, the NFL comes out and says that they've shifted their game between they flexed. So the Browns are going to play the Bungles on Thursday night. Yep. And interestingly, they changed that the day after, even though the Browns won this crazy Wonderland, snowball game, saying that they're going to go with 2 other teams on that Thursday night. So yeah, it's I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I think it's a better advantage for us to not have to travel on a short week.
Yes.
So I think it helps us.
I'm thinking about going down there. I've got a friend that works actually down at the stadium there in Cincinnati.
Paul Brown Stadium.
Yeah. And so he and I have been talking. I'm going to look into that. Maybe traveling down there that afternoon, depending on the weather, of course. It's going to get cold here and could be some snow over the next week. And
we were supposed to get some snow. It was weird because when I got to my car from the rapid station, I had to brush off my car.
Yes.
But when I got into Geauga County, which is known for getting snow, we're part of the snow belt.
Yes.
There was no snow. It was just a weird, because my wife was texting me. She was worried. She's like, "Hey, weather advisory and everything." I said, "I'm on my way home now. I'm fine.
Yeah,
rapid. We're happy. Yeah. We're partying. We're good."
Yeah,
yeah. So
it was a fun atmosphere for sure.
Yeah,
they're 3-8.
We got to play them again in 2 weeks. So
yeah, that'll be interesting. But I like our chances. They're
always.
We can. Any final thoughts tonight, Lou? Before we.
No, not at this time. I think the thing that's interesting is that the last 2 games, the 2 teams we beat were a red hot Ravens team and then a red hot Pittsburgh team. And now we're going to Denver and we're facing a red hot Denver team.
Yeah.
So did you see what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be a part of my preview article. I'm not going to be writing as much this week because of the holiday, but I plan on, because also we got to talk about one last thing. It's the game. It's Michigan week.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Thoughts? It's Michigan week. We're going to kick the shit out of them. I think it's
we've been waiting for 3 years. This is
it's time. It's
long time coming.
I think because I hear Michigan fans grumbling, "Well, you guys got the highest payroll in history." I said, yeah, but we don't have to steal signs to win, so F you. So
well, they took care of Indiana. That was good.
Indiana was overrated, and their coach was a big mouth. I mean, it was just stupid. I think if we win this game, then we get a matchup. Then we get a rematch with Oregon in the Big Ten championship game.
That's true.
In Indianapolis. That is going to be a game. That's going to be fun.
And then you get to go to the playoffs, and that's going to be another.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that surprised me the most last weekend was Alabama getting stomped by Oklahoma. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. I was like, wow. I'm watching it. I'm sitting there watching it. I have my daughter, because my daughters, they'll ask. So like they'll see a football game and they go, the Browns playing? I'm like, no. They're 7-9. They're girls. It's just no.
Right. And the
No.
Cavaliers are still winning. They got another win last night, so they're 17-1.
Yep. And they got a game. They play the Hawks Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
And then
Okay.
they play the Hawks Friday afternoon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think my family and we're going to make it to a game, the Martin Luther King Day matinee, because we're all going to be off work in January. Yeah, January 20th, I think. Yeah, so we're going to head down for that, because we went to a game last year, but we did it the day before Thanksgiving, and my girls, like, by the time it started getting later, they were getting tired. So I was just like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, okay, let's go home, because they were just tired. They weren't used to staying up too late. So
Cavs are fun. That's a fun atmosphere when you go there.
It's a fun team to watch. I mean, these guys, the way they're playing, and the thing is, Tyson. I mean, wow.
Yeah, I like
amazing, good.
That stutter step, the jump fake he made late in that game, and he had the guy fly by him into the. I did that. He just did this little floater. I'm like, these guys are really playing out of their really good stuff.
They're playing really good basketball. And I kind of felt like when they were only up by 6 at the end of the third quarter, I said they're going to make a run early in the fourth quarter. I wasn't even worried. I was kind of like, you kind of felt it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And this is the type of team that's going to be a good team. And it's going to be between them and it's probably going to come. The Eastern Conference Finals will be them and Boston.
Well, I saw something that gave Boston still the power rankings put Boston in front of Cleveland. I'm like,
because they beat
guys,
us.
Okay, you beat us. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Well, Lou, I hope you have a good. Well, have a good night, Lou.
I will. You have a good night too. Hey, we'll be back next Tuesday, 9:15.
Yeah. Apple, Spotify, listen to us. Please download us. We got so many shows. Yeah, Lou.
Check out the Burning River Browns talk on Friday nights. Check out the Combat Zone show, which is
when's that on?
That's on the Stewcast. We do that at 12:30 in the afternoon on Wednesdays. We're going to be there this Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. We'll probably only not do it on Christmas. I don't think we will.
The Burning and you got the Bearded Browns guys coming with you Friday
Burning
night.
River
That'll
Browns
be fun.
talk. Yep. And then we'll be back on Stirring the Pot. I'm just a busy guy.
Yes, that's all right.
I like to work. I like this. I tell people this all the time. This isn't work to me. I said it to Michael Davis. This isn't work to me. It was kind of funny. I'm just going to real quick story. After the draft, I did the show with Brian Davis.
Yeah.
Steel Curtain, because he wanted to talk to everybody from the AFC North about the draft and what their thoughts were and everything. He kind of thought he'd be snarky and a little smart ass with me. So you guys are our little brother. And I said, didn't we beat you the last time we played you? And he I said, and he's like, yeah, oh, well. I said, well, I mean, now we just beat him the last 2 times we played him.
Right.
And you know what? Going to Pittsburgh and winning in Pittsburgh would be huge, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah. No, it's been fun. I mean, I think it's good to get a win, and
it's good to beat the Steelers. It's really good to beat the Steelers. It's nice, and it makes my Thanksgiving a lot better.
Right? Yeah, I know. Everything's better when you can beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, everything tastes better.
Right? Yeah.
Hey guys, hey, Johnny, Cleveland, everybody, we appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Travel safely, and go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
See ya.